I like to use the term customer happiness because for me, I don't really feel that just measuring satisfaction is an inspiring enough measure. I mean, why would you just want to measure that somebody's satisfied? When you're happy with something, when you have that positive range of emotions, that's what creates the beginning of loyalty in the relationship. So for me, customer happiness is a really important thing. And for me, there are three levels of customer happiness that a business should understand. And think of it like a pyramid that stacks up. So at the very bottom, you've got happy-ish. In the middle, you have happier. And at the top, you have happiest. And if you have an arrow down the side, which is measuring how sticky, how much of an advocate or a raving fan, how likely they are to buy from you, the further up the pyramid you go, the stronger that gets. The further down the pyramid you go, the weaker it gets. So let's start with happy-ish. Happy-ish is the baseline. The fundamentals are you have to deliver the basics to the customer. You can have the nicest packaging, the most beautiful marketing campaign, you can have the most beautiful website, but if fundamentally your product does not give customers what they want, it doesn't meet their needs, it's failed at the first hurdle. So that bottom layer is that basic needs met. The trouble is, if you only focus there and you stay there, you're not creating any sense of loyalty. It's quite a transactional thing. And the danger is that's the place where it becomes much more about customers choosing based upon on price, right? Um, and so that's a really dangerous place to be for organizations if that's all you're doing. And that's what we call happy-ish. So to move up to the next level, which is happier, what we then start to see is we start to focus on making things easy for the customer. So we start to think about making the website easy to navigate. We start to make it easier for customers to be able to do things like give a return. We start to reduce the number of steps to check out. We might introduce things like Apple Pay or Google Pay, or reducing the kind of steps to do that. And then the easier you make it for a customer to do something with you, the more likely it is that they're going to stick with you. So yes, you still have to do the basics, but now you're focusing on making it easier. And so you're starting to create that stickiness. And at that level, you've moved from a pure product-centric, we're only going to focus on that, to starting to think about product-centric, stroke user-centric, and thinking about what the customer's trying to achieve. And so you're starting to create a little bit of stickiness. So now when the customer is thinking about your product and service, they might still shop around, but the fact that you've made it easier than your competitors is starting to get them to think twice about moving from you to the competitor because they might not have it as easy. And then when you get to that top level, which is happiest, what you're now investing is you're delivering the basics, you're working on making it easier, but you are now creating a sense of enjoyment from using you. And that's where things like personalization, the way that your staff interact with customers, the ambience in your restaurant, if you've got that kind of business, the decor, all of that, the packaging, all of those additional things start to play a role. And then that's at the point where customer stickiness is its highest. That's where you start to become an instinctive choice for the customer. It becomes a no-brainer. There is no shopping around. It is just the default choice for everything that you're going to do. So I think that's a really important thing for businesses to understand and to focus on. And unfortunately, in lots of companies, they're very product-centric as opposed to customer-centric. So therefore, they get stuck in that bottom half of the pyramid and never really get to the point where they drive that real richness of loyalty that lots of organizations really, really want.